Have you ever paused in the doorway of a crowded room, the hum of voices swirling around you, and wondered, do I still catch anyone's eye? It's a question that creeps in as the years stack up, isn't it? We live in a world that seems to worship the glow of youth. Smooth cheeks, bright eyes, that effortless bounce in every step. But what if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you might be more captivating than you've ever imagined? Not because of some magic cream or a rewind button on time, but because of something richer, something that's been simmering inside you all along. Beauty as we age isn't about clinging to what was. It's about the way you stand tall, the spark in your laugh, the stories etched into every line on your face. In this journey together, I'm going to walk you through 7 signs that prove you're a stunning older woman, even if you've stopped seeing it yourself. These aren't about hiding wrinkles or dyeing every silver strand. They're about the quiet power of your presence, the way people lean in when you speak, and the grace that turns heads without you even trying. Stick with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you might just catch a glimpse of yourself through a brighter, truer lens, one that shows you've been radiant all along. Number 1, people are drawn to your presence, not just your face. Picture this. You're at a friend's dinner party, the clink of glasses and soft laughter filling the air. Someone across the table leans in and says, "You've got such a warm way about you." It's not about your eyeshadow or your haircut. It's something deeper. One of the surest signs you're a beautiful older woman is when people can't help but compliment the vibe you bring. In our younger years, praise often lands on the surface: perfect skin, a dazzling smile. But as time rolls on, true allure shifts. It's in the way you tilt your head when you listen, the kindness that softens your gaze, the steady calm in your voice that makes people feel safe. Take Evelyn, a 74-year-old grandmother who spent her life tending a small flower shop. She never thought much of her looks. Her hands were rough from years of pruning roses, her hair a wild mix of grey curls she never bothered to tame. Yet everywhere she went, people lingered. At the market, a young cashier once shyly said, "You've got the kindest eyes I've ever seen." At family gatherings, her grandkids' friends would hover, drawn to her stories of planting gardens in the rain. Evelyn started noticing it more, the way strangers softened around her, how her quiet laugh could hush a room. It wasn't about looking like a magazine cover. It was the warmth she carried, a glow that had deepened with every season of her life. That's the secret, you see. Real beauty isn't a snapshot, it's a feeling. Have you ever walked into a space and felt the air shift, like people were glad you'd arrived? Maybe a friend's face lights up when you share a memory, or a stranger at the coffee shop strikes up a chat out of nowhere. It's your energy, the way you make people feel seen, heard, at ease. I knew a woman once, Clara, who at 68 could turn a dull waiting room into a circle of friends just by asking about someone's day. Her secret? She didn't chase approval. She stood tall, spoke with heart, and let her presence do the rest. If you've ever caught someone smiling at you for no reason, or felt that unspoken connection in a crowd, that's your beauty shining through. A kind that only ripens with time. Number 2, younger folks can't stop admiring your flair. Ever had a 20-something stop you mid-stride to gush, "I love your scarf. Where'd you get it?" Or maybe a niece said, "I hope I look half as cool as you when I'm older." When younger people start noticing your style, your elegance, it's a neon sign that your charm doesn't play by the calendar. Aging doesn't mean fading into beige cardigans and sensible shoes. Oh no, it's about knowing what lights you up, slipping into that jacket that hugs you just right, or pinning your hair in a way that says, "This is me." And when the younger crowd takes note, it's proof your appeal isn't stuck in some bygone era. It's alive, timeless, and kicking. Let me tell you about Marianne, a 72-year-old artist with a knack for bold earrings and flowing skirts. She never chased trends. Her closet was a patchwork of thrift store finds and pieces she'd sewn herself. One crisp autumn day, she was sipping tea at a cafe when a young barista, maybe 25, leaned over and whispered, "You've got the best style here. I wish I could pull that off." Marianne laughed, surprised, but it wasn't the first time. Her neighbor's teenage daughter once asked to borrow a necklace, saying, "It's so you, I want that vibe." What Marianne realized was that her beauty wasn't about mimicking youth. It was about owning her quirks, her confidence, her story. Younger women saw it and wanted a piece of that magic. Style isn't just clothes, though. It's the whole package. It's the way you knot a scarf on a windy day, the click of your boots on the pavement, the way you carry a worn leather bag like it's an old friend. I remember my Aunt Sophie, who at 70 turned heads with her simple linen dresses and a single silver bangle. She'd laugh and say, "I dress for me, not the mirror." But the truth? People noticed. A young co-worker once told her, "You make basics look like art." That's the trick. When you feel good in your skin, when you pick what sings to you, it radiates. So next time a younger voice pipes up with admiration, don't brush it off. It's not just about the outfit, it's about the woman wearing it. And she's unforgettable. If this is hitting home, drop a 2 in the comments. I'd love to know you're with me. Number 3, eyes lock and ears perk when you talk. Here's a scene for you. You're at a picnic, the grass tickling your ankles, and as you start sharing a story, maybe about that time you got lost on a road trip, everyone's gaze settles on you. They're not just being polite, they're hooked. One of the clearest signals you're a striking older woman is when people don't just hear you, they listen. Their eyes meet yours, steady and bright. Their heads tilt just so. It's not about shouting for attention. It's about the pull of your voice, the way your words carry a lifetime of knowing. Consider Beatrice, a 76-year-old retired librarian with a soft-spoken charm. She wasn't loud or flashy. Her glasses were perpetually smudged, her sweaters a little frayed. But when she spoke, rooms stilled. At a book club once, she started recounting a tale about a dusty novel she'd found in an attic, and every face turned her way. A younger member later said, "I could listen to you all day. You've got this way of making everything sound alive." Beatrice blushed, but she couldn't deny it. People didn't just hear her, they felt her. Her steady gaze, her gentle pauses, the way she wove wisdom into every sentence. It was magnetic. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Ever notice how a confident nod or a thoughtful can pull someone closer? I once watched my friend, Lila, 69, hold court at a family reunion. She wasn't the loudest, but when she spoke, maybe about her garden or a recipe gone wrong, everyone leaned in. Her secret? She listened as fiercely as she talked, her eyes warm and present. That's the alchemy of charisma. You give, you receive, and suddenly you're the heartbeat of the moment. If folks hang on your words, if their eyes don't wander, that's your beauty at work. Not just in your face, but in the space you create. Number 4, they can't stop praising your glow. Imagine you're at the grocery store, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and a stranger pauses by the apples to say, "Your skin looks amazing. What's your secret?" Or maybe a friend brushes your arm and says, "Your hair's got this shine. I'm jealous." When people zero in on your skin, your hair, your posture. It's not small talk. It's a spotlight on the vitality you carry. Sure, youth gets the hype for flawless complexions, but real beauty at this stage, it's the life in your cheeks, the way your shoulders square, the bounce in your step that says you're still here, thriving. Take Hazel, a 73-year-old yoga teacher who swore by nothing fancier than oatmeal soap and a good night's sleep. She didn't fuss over mirrors, but at a community fair, a vendor stopped her mid-stride. "You've got this glow. Do you make your own creams?" Hazel chuckled. She didn't, but it wasn't the first time. Her daughter's friends raved about her thick silver braid, and a neighbor once said, "You stand like you're 40. It dawned on her, people weren't seeing flaws, they were seeing her, the way she moved with ease, the natural sheen of her hair catching the sun, the quiet pride in her straight back. It's the little things that add up. Maybe you've got a laugh that crinkles your eyes just right, or your hair falls in a way that feels like a signature. I knew a woman, Rose, who at 71 turned her grey into a crown, cropped short, always neat. People stopped her constantly. That cut is stunning. But it wasn't just the hair. It was how she held herself. Chin up, shoulders back, like she owned every room. When someone notices these details, the warmth in your skin, the elegance of your stance, it's a nod to the care you give yourself. So if those compliments come your way, soak them in. They're proof your beauty's alive and kicking. Enjoying this? Toss a 4 in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Number 5. Your confidence commands respect. There's something electric about a woman who walks into a room like she belongs there. No apologies, no shrinking. One of the strongest signs you're a gorgeous older woman is when people don't just see you, they respect you, drawn to the confidence you've earned over decades. It's not loud or showy. It's the quiet certainty in your step, the way you speak without second-guessing, the ease of knowing who you are. When folks nod at your words, seek your take, or simply watch you with a flicker of awe, that's your inner strength stealing the show. Look at Vivian, a 75-year-old former chef who traded her apron for a gardening spade. She didn't fuss over her looks. Her hands were calloused, her face sun-weathered, but people couldn't look away. At a neighborhood meeting, she stood to share her thoughts on a new park, and the room hushed. Later, a young mum said, "You've got this air. I want that someday." Vivian didn't chase trends or hide her years. She owned them. Her voice was steady, her posture firm, and that quiet power made her radiant. Confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a signal. Ever had someone ask your opinion like it's gold? Or watched a group part slightly as you approach? I remember my cousin Faye, 72, at a wedding. She wasn't the bride, but when she spoke, maybe a toast or a quip, heads turned. Her secret? She didn't need approval. She knew her worth. That's the beauty that age polishes. Not a mask, but a mirror reflecting all you've become. If people lean into your presence, if they value your voice, that's your confidence painting you stunning. Number 6. Your warmth lights up the room. Ever walked into a place, say, a bustling cafe with the scent of coffee thick in the air, and felt the mood lift just because you're there? One of the sweetest signs you're a beautiful older woman is the way your warmth wraps around people like a favorite sweater. It's not about perfect cheekbones or a runway strut. It's the smile that crinkles your eyes, the laugh that invites others in, the way you make a stranger feel like an old friend. If folks open up to you, if they linger in your orbit, that's your charisma working its magic. Take Nora, a 72-year-old retired baker with flour-dusted memories and a grin that could melt ice. She didn't think of herself as a stunner. Her apron days were long gone, but people flocked to her. At a park picnic, a shy teen sat beside her, spilling worries about school within minutes. "You're easy to talk to," he said. At the library, the clerk always saved her a mystery novel, saying, "You brighten my day." Nora's gift wasn't loud. It was the way her eyes twinkled when she listened, the gentle pat on her hand, the stories she told with a chuckle. That warmth was her beauty, and it grew brighter every year. It's in the details, a nod that says, "I hear you," a tilt of your head that pulls people closer. My friend June, 70, had this trick. She'd smile, just a little, and suddenly everyone was at ease. At a reunion, she'd ask about your life, really listen, and before you knew it, you'd told her everything. People don't forget that feeling. If you've ever noticed folks relax around you, if conversations bloom wherever you are, that's your charm. A beauty that's soft, steady, and impossible to resist. Still with me? Drop a 6 in the comments. I'd love to know. Number 7. Eyes follow you, subtle but sure. You're strolling through a farmer's market, the air thick with the scent of fresh bread and lavender. When you catch it, a quick glance from a vendor, a lingering look from someone by the flowers. It's not blatant, not a stare, but it's there. People stealing peeks. One of the truest signs you're a striking older woman is when eyes trail you, drawn by something they can't quite name. It's not about looking 30 again. It's the way you move, the poise in your stride, the quiet allure that says you're fully, beautifully you. Meet Lila, a 70-year-old widow who loved her Saturday walks. She didn't fuss over her looks. Her coat was patched, her boots scuffed, but she noticed the pattern. A barista would smile a beat too long, a passerby would glance back as she crossed the street. Once, a young woman stopped her. "I love your hat, it's so chic." Lila laughed. It was just a thrift find. But she started seeing it. People weren't just polite, they were captivated. It was her steady pace, her lifted chin, the way she savored the world around her. It's not always obvious. Maybe it's a waiter who lingers at your table, a neighbor who watches you tend your garden. I knew a woman, Alma, 71, who'd catch these moments, men holding doors with a nod, kids staring as she hummed down the sidewalk. She didn't rush, she flowed, her scarf fluttering like a flag of confidence. That's the pull. Not perfection, but presence. If you've felt those quiet looks, those stolen seconds, don't doubt it. Your beauty's still turning heads. It's just doing it with a deeper, richer song. Final thoughts. Seeing yourself anew. Here we are. 7 signs, laid out like treasures from a life well lived. Beauty as an older woman isn't about clawing back the past. It's about the way you fill a room, the respect you command, the glances you don't even notice. If people light up around you, admire your flair, or hang on your every word, that's not chance. It's you. Too often we're told age dims us, but I'm here to say it doesn't. It refines us, sharpens the edges of who we are, makes us magnetic in ways youth could never touch. Which of these hit home for you? Maybe you've seen it, the way a friend's eyes crinkle when you laugh, or how a stranger's gaze lingers. Share it below. I'd love to hear your story, and if something clicked today, tell me one thing you'll carry forward. Your voice keeps this going, keeps us connected. If you love this, hit that like, subscribe, share. It's how we keep shining together. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Number 8. Your wisdom leaves a lasting echo. Ever found yourself at a table, maybe over a steaming mug of tea, and someone says, "You always know just what to say," one of the most radiant signs you're a beautiful older woman is the way your wisdom lingers, like the scent of rain after a storm. It's not about having all the answers. It's the way you share what you've learned, the gentle nudge of insight, the stories that weave through years of living. When people walk away from you carrying a piece of your light, that's beauty in its purest form, polished by time and glowing brighter than ever. Take Cora, a 73-year-old former seamstress with hands that still remembered every stitch. She wasn't one for grand speeches. Her voice was soft, her words simple, but they stuck. At a family dinner, her nephew was fretting over a job loss, and Cora said, "I lost my shop once, but I found my way by threading one needle at a time." He nodded quiet, and months later told her, "That got me through." Friends sought her out too. Over tea, she'd listen, then offer a line like, "Life bends, but it doesn't break." They'd leave lighter, her wisdom a lantern in their hands. It's not just advice, it's how you share it. Maybe you've got a knack for a well-timed tale, like my neighbor Ruth, 74, who'd spin yarns about her wild youth, dancing in the rain, chasing dreams. Her eyes would spark, her hands dance, and we'd all be spellbound, carrying her lessons home. Or maybe it's quieter, a look that says, "I've been there," a phrase that settles a restless heart. If people quote you, if they seek your counsel, if your words echo long after you've spoken, that's your beauty blooming, a gift that age has only made richer. What do you think? Ring any bells? Drop your thoughts below. I can't wait to read them.